Good day and welcome to the dining table. Rockland County GOP is holding a press conference in response to finding what they're calling a migrant flop house, a house that had over uh, 30 individuals who recently, they're saying within 2 weeks, migrated to America. They're saying that they came to New York, then they came to Rockland County, Clarkstown. The house had very poor living conditions. God forbid there was a fire. The occupants could have been hurt. The first responders. There are children in there. So here you have some GOP leaders who are calling for an investigation. They're saying a lot here. They're saying that they believe it's by design. They want people to be held accountable for whoever they're talking to. They have communication with the owner. Well, they started having communication with the owner, then that stopped. So they filed a lawsuit, and they want to know who's paying the owner. They want to know if there are any other houses that can be holding uh, asylum seekers that are unsafe conditions. Let's hear from them. Please subscribe, like, and share.
Well, thank you, George. And I want to say at the onset here, this would not have been uncovered but for Supervisor Homan and the work that he has done over the last 8 years as supervisor in the town of Clarkstown to make sure that their laws, their town code are enforced, period. And he has worked hand in glove with the county executive to crack down on these illegal home conversions and on folks.
So they're calling it a problem with illegal home conversions, that this home in Clarkstown was too small to house 31 people.
Who think it is their right to break the law. The bottom line here is this. Every homeowner in Rockland County and across the state of New York must recognize that we have town codes for a reason, we have a fire code for a reason, and we have to protect the health and well-being and the safety of our residents and our first responders. This is unacceptable. And I think the investigation that is underway will hopefully get to the bottom of who is behind moving migrants from New York City up to Rockland County and across the Hudson Valley. And if it is found that Eric Adams and his administration are somehow involved, they need to be held accountable.
So here he's saying that if it's found out that New York City Mayor Eric Adams is part of them coming to Rockland County to live and seek shelter, then he wants him and his team or whoever else to be held accountable. He's not accusing him of it. He's just saying that if this turns out to be the situation.
This cannot continue, period. The failure here is on multiple levels. Since Joe Biden took office, nearly 6 million migrants have crossed our southern border, most of them illegally. This administration, going back 2 years, was flying migrants to Westchester County Airport, long before southern states were ever moving migrants to New York. This administration was. The southern border has been overrun, and these communities cannot handle it. And so, Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul, in their infinite wisdom, and the Democratic politicians in New York and New York City believe that we should be a sanctuary city and sanctuary state. They believe we should not cooperate with ICE or law enforcement officials. And they've used taxpayer funds to provide free housing, free health care, free education, free food, free clothing, no accountability. And so what happens? We now have had over 100,000 migrants come to New York City in just the last year. They can't handle it. And let's be clear, this is not about being against immigration. I've said many times before, my wife is an immigrant. I've been through this process. It is a fundamentally broken one. But we have to have a process that works. Just having open borders in a sanctuary city, refusal to cooperate with ICE, the right to shelter. You heard Eric Adams just a week ago. This is a disaster for New York. Now, earlier this year, House Republicans passed H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader of New York State, from New York State, doing absolutely nothing. Silent. What happened to those Sunday press conferences? It's an absolute joke. We have to stop this massive influx of migrants at the border. We need more court personnel to hear these asylum cases expeditiously. It should not be taking 2 to 3 years to have these cases heard. And by the way, when they are finally heard, nearly 70% of them are rejected. This is a crisis, and it requires action at the federal level. The president needs to work with House Republicans, and Chuck Schumer needs to get off his behind and do something. He represents New York State. Silence. It's unacceptable. So all of us collectively have to work to secure our border. And Governor Hochul needs to stand up to Mayor Adams and protect counties outside the city of New York.
So there are counties outside of New York City, as he said, that do not want to be sent these asylum seekers. And Governor Kathy Hochul has said that she, is not going to force them to house them. Mayor Eric Adams believes differently, and here he's saying that Kathy Hochul needs to stand up to Eric Adams and make sure that he does not bust them out to the other counties in New York State.
She represents everybody. This cannot just continue to be a situation where the city of New York dumps its problem on other people's doorsteps.
You see what he said? He says New York City. So everyone is putting blame. They're saying it's the federal government. They're saying it's Congress. He's saying it's New York City dumping their problems because they were sent to New York City. They came to New York City from Texas. They came from the southern border. So everyone is just pointing fingers as to who is causing this issue. It's a migrant issue. It's an immigration issue.
Thank God for Ed Day. Ed Day and I stood together in March, and we sounded the alarm on this issue. We were called all sorts of names by my Democratic colleagues. They called us racist. They called us bigoted. We were raising the alarm because this is unsustainable. And people are going to get hurt as a result. And thank God Clarkstown, under George Holman's leadership, was able to uncover this and crack down on it immediately. 30 people living in a 1,500 square foot home. Are you kidding me? There needs to be accountability, and there needs to be a reckoning here. And people need to wake up and work together to solve the crisis. And it starts with securing our border and stopping this massive influx. My Democratic colleagues think building more housing and waiving the wait period for work authorization is going to solve this crisis. It will not. It will make it exponentially worse. We need to have a process. That's the bottom line. And with that,